Tamosi Kabotano, the Ancient One of the Yamasee. Now, this deity is described as being the Ancient of Days, a primordial creator who shaped the world, left wisdom behind, and then stepped away. And psychologically, he embodies the archetype of the absent father, or the withdrawn deity. And from a human psychic standpoint, this is both terrifying and liberating. It's terrifying because it leaves people with no safety net, no active divine intervention. Liberating because it forces communities to carry forward responsibly, memory, and ritual all by themselves. This is when the teacher leaves the classroom. And in the Yamasee worldview, it suggests that he gave teachings and then departed. And this maps onto the psychological pattern of a mentor archetype who disappears so that students have to walk alone now. Think of it as a graduation. The divine parent exits the stage so that humanity can test its own strength. Worship then becomes less about pleasing a present God and more about carrying memory, duty, and cultural continuity. Calling him the Ancient of Days ties him to the archetype of time itself. So psychologically, this places this deity as an anchor for stability, permanence, and cosmic order. In practice, it creates a worship system rooted in ancestry, timeless law, and ritual memory, rather than an immediate transactional prayer you see with more like active gods. Now, his withdrawal is also a mirror of loss. In the shadow side, this is seen as a parallel of trauma and cultural loss. When a people experience colonization, displacement, forced assimilation, the feeling that the ancient ones left us echoes in this lived reality where the beings were abandoned and that connection was severed from those traditions. And in this sense, Tamosi worship may psychologically process through a sacred mystery of divine distance and the earthly plane of historical absence. But what we do see when we look at the human psyche and the worship of this being is that he symbolizes the eternal. So he is tied to order and permanence, giving the mind a stable access point in a very chaotic world. He's tied to memory and duty. His withdrawal reinforces the weight of oral tradition and ritual practice that they have to keep strong. Absence and resilience. His lack of presence reflects humanity's own struggle with loss, forcing resilience, adaptation, and self-reliance. And this is an ancestral memory. This is worship functions as a dialogue between the ancestors themselves, who, like Tamosi, are unseen, but their teachings still remain. What this worship really reveals is how we can cope when the source of power is gone, how we honor teachings and teachers without them necessarily being there, and how we transform divine silence into cultural endurance. And this is a great example of all that in the practice of remembering this specific deity. If you have more that you want to add, please do so in the comment section. And as always, I ask you to hit that like and subscribe.